Today is Wednesday, March 29th, 2023. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 44, Week 5.
This episode was titled very crassly. I would say incredibly crassly.
Okay.
It's titled The Third Turd. And that was spoken by Carolyn, the editor's favorite.
Okay. All right. Night 9 at Tika.
After the Sarah vote out, Yam Yam saying, I would have gone with you.
If you just told me.
Yes, if you hadn't left me out.
Yeah, right. I don't believe him, did you?
No, I didn't.
Not at all.
Neither, but he's doing damage control.
Yep.
Carolyn says, I was never comfortable with her. Yes, we learned a lot about that in the exit interviews, Carolyn.
And she didn't know where he was either. Though I think she did. So...
Yam Yam says he was happy to survive, but not happy not to know.
Well, and she let him know that, you two told me what to do. I hope he's clued into that already. Stop telling her things. Go back to asking. Well, I don't know if he ever asked, but it's time to learn if you really want to stay in the alliance.
What's a little one side about it is they're letting her describe it all. You're not getting a whole lot into what it's like to have to interact with her. what may prompt some of that, or the erratic behavior, the uncertainty just in being in a discussion with her.
Well, Josh was very glad that he trusted her and that he played his idol, like she told him.
Trusted his non-existent gut. Mm-hmm. And Carolyn.
Okay, that's bad.
That was a winning solution for her. Well, that was right in that area is where we got the title too, where she said she didn't want to be the third turd, which is saying what? That they are both turds and she didn't want to be a turd too? Or the turd's the one that got voted out of the tribe?
Well, you sure just said turd a lot for somebody who thought it was very crass.
Uh-huh.
So, okay.
Well, I didn't say I was above it.
Well, we now know that you clearly are not. All right. Carolyn says her heart stays with Yam Yam. Were you surprised?
And then she added that Josh is probably best for her game.
Well, and she wants to win.
Sorry,
I don't blame her.
To answer your question, surprised, Carolyn, I may be over that stage. You never know. I guess you're always surprised with her. Maybe that's another way to spin it. Ratu, day 10, Matthew is telling, was it Carson?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that he's in a lot of pain. That was the clip that we got from Next Time on Survivor, right?
Yes. Or at least part of it.
Oh, he was talking to Kane. Yeah, and Kane was complimenting him, saying, every day you play, you impress me, and he was really buttering him up. It was probably genuine.
Yeah, and then he was talking to Carson. And Carson gives him a hug. And, he tells him about how much pain he's been in and that he had trained to be there for years. And it, like I said, it always still brings up well, then you shouldn't have tried to climb the stupid rock. I can't help it.
Brought it on yourself, Matthew. Joanne's not going to overlook that.
I'm angry with you about it. So, but oh well.
And he
paid for it.
Backhanded complimented Carson at the same time. Did you hear that? Awfully big heart for a little guy.
Okay. Well, are you surprised that Matthew feels like he can open up so much more with Carson than the other people he's been there with a lot longer, and even Kane.
I didn't know whether to trust him, like that was believable or not.
I guess I took him at his word.
Yeah.
Because Kane's sharing with him too, and he's just,
With Carson?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I know he's a nerd.
Nerds unite.
What about those Jedi?
Everyone here is so old. There's no one to make small talk with. They only want to talk about food. That was Kane's
Yep.
assessment of his tribe. Carson's thrilled, though. He says, I'm here, I'm inserting myself, and before they know it, that one of them's going to get voted out of the game, and I'll still be here. What'd you think about that?
I think he's assuming an awful lot very early on, and him saying that soon as someone figures him out and what he's doing, he's going to vote him off. I thought, well, we'll see.
Yes, that's that same big head that we saw on Tika when he was convinced that Helen had an idol based on his extensive research of FBI interrogation techniques.
Yep, and he could tell for certain she was lying.
He had done the research. Yes.
I wonder why she didn't play it when she got voted.
Okay, so this is definitely some good tribe time.
It is, and I was happy to see it.
Soka, day 10 also. Danny's talking about his love for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the BJJ, and he's leading them through some breathing drills.
That he said really did help him.
Mm-hmm.
And that he thought it would help the others as well. So that's cool. I always like to learn stuff about, breathing, and that's always been beneficial to me as well. So
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of power that comes with that. There's a lot of foo-foo that goes into it from some people.
Oh, shut up.
But I wasn't talking about you, but the main thing for him was it helped him feel connected to his 4-month-old daughter that he left.
Oh, and that set me off.
Yes.
You left your wife at home with a 4-month-old.
Yes, that's why I framed it the way I did. Just wanted to light that fuse again. Jamie's thrilled, huh? She said, this is my tribe, the high vibe tribe.
Yeah, I think Jamie's a little bit delusional. She just, yes, everybody meditates. She gravitates more toward their energy. I get all that, but she's assuming a lot, especially because she's so confident, I think, because she thinks she has 2 idols.
That's a part of it.
And so she's feeling very safe that she has 2 idols. And the fact that she knows everything that went on over at the Ratu tribe.
Yep.
She feels like that gives her a ton of power with these people.
She's got information to share.
Yeah, but you can only share it once. So
She's trying to work her magic. I didn't hear the wand, though. We didn't get any magic wand ding, but she's trying to work her magic a little bit on Matt. And that didn't go the way she had planned.
No, it did not. So that means there's something wrong with him.
Yes.
And she goes to tell Frannie about it.
He must be a dum-dum because he favors slow deliberation over immediately throwing his lot in with Jaime.
Well,
she says he is learning to crawl.
She just said how slow he was. You kind of ad-libbed with all that other stuff.
Said he was learning to crawl while the rest of them were busy running a marathon.
And that's when we get the statement from Frannie that we saw on Next On last week, that she doesn't know how close we are.
Mm-hmm. So you thought it might be a little bit of jealousy thing riling up, but
I thought it could be, yeah.
Now that you've seen it.
Nah, that wasn't.
It was just.
That wasn't it. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. It could have been, but it wasn't.
What did you think of Frannie's response to Jaime? She said he's affable. That was like his big value, I guess. She didn't actually have a lot in return to say.
She didn't say much, which I thought was good.
Uh-huh.
But
was it good, or did she not have anything?
What it tells me is that Jaime really hasn't talked to a lot of people, or they would have talked about how close Matt and Frannie are, because people were, yes. And so she's not in the know in this tribe, in Soku.
Right.
So that's what it told me, is you're not nearly as tuned in as you think you are.
Right.
That's what it tells me. And even Frannie didn't overly share much with her. Matt didn't, Frannie didn't, and obviously the others haven't said anything about Frannie and Matt's closeness. So,
Speaking of that, we
out of the loop.
got some Matt and Frannie, or some Manny, or some frat time. What do we want to call that?
Stop trying to be clever. Just say Matt and Frannie.
Matt says
Or
that
Manny.
Frannie. I did say that. Matt says that Frannie is his blind spot, and he was at a loss for words when discussing her.
Yep. They are definitely crushing on each other. It's very clear now.
Speaking of breathing, they took some deep breath hugs there. That was more than one.
Yep. Well, you can tell that she's talking about dating afterwards, and she'd be fine dating him. That
Definitely
would thrill
sparking.
her. So
Yes.
yes, it absolutely is for both of them. So it's really great that it's not just one-sided.
Yeah. She said, "I don't not have a crush." And then she went on to say, "I would date him." And
I believe they probably will,
checked-
unless something happens.
checked with him to confirm that she indeed was blushing. She had the full-on red face.
Yep.
I could not see that. So, but I trust that was actually what was happening.
I assume so. I didn't really notice it either.
Tika, day 10, Yam Yam and Josh are going back and forth.
Jam just wants to, let's just move on and go have a fun day.
Rant a little, get it over with, and then have a fun day.
Yep. And
Josh says, "That sounds great, but I don't trust you."
yeah, I'm fine. I just don't trust you.
Yeah, Jam saying he wants to make amends, but he's dishonest.
It wasn't personal, after all. I was just going along with the group. Well, what group? He and Carolyn weren't with you.
You're right.
What group? So that just didn't sit well.
No, it was
It's
disingenuous.
like, yeah, excuses.
I thought Josh played that pretty well. I'm not mad. Just don't trust you.
Well, and then Josh gets a little more clever and just tells him, "I've got another idol from the birdcage over at the other tribe," and he made a fake idol to.
From the tree mail beads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
We'll come back to that.
Yes, we will. And then they start sharing their stories with each other.
Jam said, "Well, it looks like I'm next, but we're not that different." So he was still working to find common ground.
Yes. And they did find common ground. They talked about when they both came out to their loved ones and, a little bit about their story.
Where Jam wasn't able to do that with his mom.
Right.
And Josh was. But yeah, they definitely shared part of their journey.
Yeah. And then they start talking about getting Carolyn out all of a sudden.
Yeah, that sounds
It's like,
good. Good plan.
Okay, well, wow. You went right from "I don't trust you" and to, okay, well, let's get her out.
Here's a bond. We got something. We got a foundation we can work from. All right, let's get rid of Crazy Lady.
Okay.
So I thought for this episode we got some great tribe time.
Day 11, Immunity Challenge.
Immunity and reward.
What was the reward? Just the journey?
Or, yeah, I guess it wasn't reward. It was the journey.
It was just immunity.
Yeah. The press
the journey
release
came
was
after. Yeah.
was a little that I guess there was a reward on that.
Yes.
Yeah, if you got chosen for that.
So they have to.
Heidi was surprised to see Josh. She had some genuine surprise on her face when he came in.
I didn't see that.
Sorry, go ahead.
So, and Jeff tells them that the winning tribe gets to decide the 3 players that go on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine where their minds all went scrambling to.
Yep.
And Lauren and Matthew decide to sit out for their tribe, and Jaime and Frannie sit out for Soka. Soka.
You've decided to rename the tribes.
Well,
Let's recap.
I'm just going to start calling them orange and purple and green.
Okay.
Because I do tend, I don't know why those names don't stick well. Tika's easy, but the other 2 not so much.
Right.
Okay.
So we got our sit-outs because there's only 3 left in Tika. So the other 2 tribes have to get down to 3 to compete.
Yep.
They're going to be tied together for this one. They got to get through obstacles,
Yeah,
classic
those
obstacles.
sticks. That looked dangerous to me. The sticks.
It did, but the solution this time, the shortcut answer that they all chose, I don't know if they were cheating off each other, but they just went high, and that seemed to limit the difficulty there for sure.
Cool. Then they had the over and unders, which Jeff said they had to get really low for that.
Mm-hmm.
Then they get they have to fill up the little water bucket.
I just wanted to say one thing before we go to that is that Tika was in the lead on those first two. They got through those first two
Yes,
obstacles
they
before
were.
the other
I was surprised
two
about
teams.
that too.
Yeah. Okay,
But
go ahead.
then they didn't stay in the lead.
Fill a water bucket and then go over a teeter-totter and then climb up and then empty whatever you had left into a bucket to drop a gate.
Yep. And when you got it filled enough, then the gate dropped and you could go through to the maze.
This is the classic maze table where you've got to work the ball, kind of like a
Two people have to work it.
have to work the board where the maze is and tilt it left and right and forward and backwards to roll the ball through the maze.
And they had to get 3 balls.
Yep, got to lock in 3 at the end, and there's all kinds of opportunities to fall off to either side, which Tika demonstrated quite frequently, as well as you can drop when you get to the very end where the 3 holes are. It's easy to roll off there.
Well, it was interesting that they pretty much all caught up right there at the maze.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of went in even.
Yes.
And it was Yam Yam and Josh. Once again, I guess they didn't want Carolyn to compete.
Ooh, I would not want Carolyn in that either.
So, and then Danny and Matt and Carson and Brandon.
Yep.
So Danny and Matt started out really well, got the first ball in, and Carson and Brandon got the second. And then finally, Jam and Josh got one.
Yep. But you could tell it was down to Ratu and Soka.
Yep.
And ended up being Ratu winning, so that they got to decide. They had the power to decide who went on the journey.
Yep. And then Danny and Matt came in second, and once again, Tika loses.
Danny yelled out to Probst, I always wondered if it was really as close as it looked on TV. Said, sure enough, it was.
And at that point, we knew we would not be getting a vote-off point.
Yes. Well, our thing, I think we were both of the same mind. We were thinking Matthew was going to go out on a medical. Or
No,
I was.
I was not.
Okay. You didn't end up there.
No.
I did. So I just put him in as a filler, thinking, oh, well, he might ask to be voted out so he can have the experience.
Well, as I told you when I voted yesterday, that was my decision, is that I thought he was definitely going to leave, but that he was going to, I didn't know if they would throw the challenge or lose the challenge, but I felt like he was going to ask to be voted out. I really thought he would want that, if he could hold on, that he would want that experience of having his torch snuffed. That's why I chose to vote for him voted out.
And you knew something was up because they made a point of keeping Probst tell Matthew that he was concerned about his shoulder. He wanted him to check with medical again.
And we both went, uh-oh, yep, it's that's not good. They wouldn't have showed us that if something wasn't going to come of it.
Something wasn't up, yeah.
But, you know, when they showed it last week, I thought, well, that could totally be a red herring too, so...
Yam Yam got the confessional on the way out. He said this is the hardest way to play Survivor when you're down to 3 like this, and that he has nothing. Hello, I can't vote out a coconut tree, he tells us.
Okay. And they chose for the journey Brandon, Danny, and Carolyn. But Jeff tells them she will be back before tribal counts.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, oh, so they're not going to shake up the tribes. I didn't think they'd do the same thing again, but it was a possibility.
Yeah, they were doing something a little different on each one previous in the most recent seasons. Yeah. Okay, time to talk to Dr. Will. Matthew's describing the pain in his experience as gravity's trying to pull his shoulder back out of the socket again. That would be unnerving.
We had already determined he must have torn something in there.
When it popped out so easy when he was digging in the sand.
Digging the sand. Yeah. We both went, oh, that's out.
That's a
that popped.
Good indicator that something
that it's not
serious.
Holding it in. And he's probably, my guess is he's going to have surgery to fix it.
And the other thing, too, is this is on his mind constantly. It's like, I'm not getting better. This isn't getting easier. It still hurts.
Well, the pain wears on you after a while. It beats you down.
And he tells him he's worried he's not getting enough calories to actually heal.
Yeah, for his body to let him heal. Yeah, and he knows he has to make a decision. He knows it's not working. If he was going to start healing, he already would have. And he hasn't. That's a long time.
Yeah, Dr. Will acknowledge that. That's a lot of pain for a long time.
Well, but also, as Jeff pointed out, he chose to participate in challenges that he didn't have to.
Probst even said they had advised not to.
Yes, and he did it anyway.
Probst told him he was impressed, but he also acknowledged his commitment and how gung-ho he was.
And I understand that.
He didn't actually, I disagreed with one thing Probst said. He didn't hurt it playing the game. He heard it goofing off.
Yeah.
He was in the game when he heard it, but he wasn't really playing the game. I don't view it that way. And
he does acknowledge that later on, so that was on him. So I guess I'll forgive you, Matthew.
Cut to Tika here on day 11 and the sight of a dead crab. I'm not sure what that was supposed to mean.
Okay, somebody's going to die. Is probably what it was meaning.
Josh says to Yam Yam, we did our best. It was a good effort.
And Josh is at least happy that Yam Yam believes he has an idol. And but he tells him, I'd really like to save the idol.
Yes.
There's his excuse for not playing a fake idol.
Right.
And let's both get on the same page here. Vote Carolyn out, and I can save the idol. We may need it later.
Seemed plausible. That wasn't unrealistic, or didn't seem like he was overdoing it to me or anything. What did you think?
And Yam was like, hey, no, I don't think he overdid it. But Yam was like, yeah, he could throw Carolyn under the bus.
He'd be happy to throw her under the bus, under the boat, under the train, and then back up over her several times.
If it saves me, you betcha.
Mm-hmm.
And
he ended with, she's too emotional.
Well, and I like that Josh said, okay, let's let Carolyn tell each of us whatever she tells us about what happens, and then they can compare notes, basically.
And they shook on it.
Okay.
So they got a plan. Cut to the journey. Brandon says he's happy, but he's already thinking, what am I going to tell the tribe when I get back? And this one starts off...
expect me to come back with something.
Yeah, this one starts off different. Tells them to walk down the beach and get to know each other. Does not advise them to be careful what they share.
Yep. And they end up at the sanctuary. That kind of surprised me.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where it was going.
Yep.
But didn't consider it, even though we've seen the sanctuary multiple times on previous seasons.
And that you don't have to choose anything or do it. Just go over there, eat, and relax.
Take a break, get snacks. It's all about the snacks.
Well, everybody's gonna wish they'd gone when they find out they got to eat.
Mm-hmm. Carolyn says, I don't normally eat meat, but I will on Survivor. Check. Good call.
And Carolyn tells them that Josh came back with an idol from the journey.
That was big, wasn't it?
That was huge.
That did not go overlooked. Immediately, Danny and Brandon realized, oh, well,
Jaime and Carson too, then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Which doesn't necessarily mean, they could have drawn something and they didn't get it and Josh did, but they're pretty sure that. Well, and Carolyn saw the notes, so she could have even given them more specifics of what the note said, because she had seen it.
Danny's happy. He's getting food and information.
And Carolyn once again gets no respect.
Yeah,
The
you said
guys
it was
start
like,
having a conversation that's like she's not even there.
that was hilarious. I enjoyed that.
Ugh. And they're just broing out.
Just two
And
dum-dums.
she's like, I'm already gone to them.
Yes.
And then she's getting angry because they're underestimating her. And she's telling us, I will make the merge.
Yep.
So I thought, she's going to play her idol?
Well, Brandon threw her a bone, you know.
Oh, I could smack him.
He was very kind. He said, look,
Oh,
we're going to keep you after the merge because you suck in challenges. You're not a threat.
oh my gosh.
Totally,
I can't believe she didn't go off on him.
totally explained it for her.
But she's going to bide her time. Don't they know anything about a woman scorned?
Well, they've seen her performance in challenges, and that's enough for them.
But even so, why would you say anything like that? That is just stupid play.
Meat shield. We can help each other win. We'll get Josh. We win.
Yes. And to tell her that they would bring Josh in.
Yes.
They didn't even seem to care what they were saying in front of her.
No, she's disposable. She won't be here tomorrow.
Well, I can't wait for her to do some damage to him.
Yes.
I just thought that is so stupid.
This
guys.
is peak. They've now painted her as the supreme underdog. So everyone gather round and cheer for
Well,
Carolyn.
I had said, she's another Rodney Dangerfield. Just never gets any respect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that would about. I have to give her credit for keeping it together in front of them because
I don't know that she did. It just more
I
that
think she
it was-
probably did.
Go back
They
and
didn't
watch.
show-
Watch her faces. Listen to what she's saying.
Yeah, but they weren't paying her any attention.
Exactly. Those are two different things.
Okay. All right.
Tika?
Well, we'll move on past that. Yes.
Back to Tika, day 11. Carolyn's triumphant return. She tells him the journey affected me.
Well, and it affects how she was going to vote.
Yeah. She is
Because
ready
now she's ready to get rid of Josh because they want him.
She's ready to jump into Jam Jam's arms, she tells
Yep.
us. She's mouthing and signaling to him, trying to tell him that they're good.
We're good. They want Josh in their little meat shield.
Yeah, so she shared that. That was interesting.
Yeah.
They were just broing out, and Josh, they've got plans for you, buddy. You're part of the Meat Shield Alliance.
Well, the only thing is maybe Jam Jam thought, well, then they'll want me too.
This is when we get the big comic relief of this episode. So Josh is feeling the pressure. Yeah, this is kind of sad, wasn't it?
That's cringeworthy.
Cringy, yeah. Cringe for Josh. He says, well, he's got another idol he's going to play.
And then Carolyn starts right in. Did he show it to you?
Right.
Did he show it to you?
Did you see it? No, just the note, Jam Jam said.
Well, and Carolyn immediately recognized the note.
Is the same one that he had shown her two nights ago.
Yep.
Before
Same
voting Sarah out.
note.
Well, I was even more impressed with Jam Jam. Is that the beats from Tree Mail? He nailed him just like that.
Well, you notice beads.
No, it's not. I promise. Josh is such a horrible liar. I'm surprised they didn't bust him for his other lies. Yes, and you're not a surgeon either, right, Josh?
Yeah, and he's like jams on to me.
Here's where they got me. The editors got me at this point, though, because Josh says, I'm feeling vulnerable, and then, bam, we get his backstory.
Yep, and we said, he's going.
Maybe he is going to go.
That's it. He's going to go.
We get the backstory.
Yep. We knew they'd do that before they got rid of him.
And what interesting insight that you get at this point. Go ahead.
And the editors knew that, too. That's why they threw that in there.
Yeah.
To build the suspense.
Yeah.
That Josh is going.
I love the insight you get, too. You see how Jam Jam has to deal with this. Okay, so it's a fake idol. Now we don't have that power. And I'm still struggling. I'm like right back to whether or not I can trust Josh again. Because as far as they know, they're going to tribal council. And then we see Jam Jam and Carolyn talking.
Well, and Jam Jam's so confused now, he doesn't know if he trusts either one of them.
Yeah, well, and rightly so. But Carolyn tries to pull him back in. She says, I'm so sorry. I want nothing to do with that bro alliance. And She's trying, obviously, to manage her risk. She's saying it's too early for her to use the idol. She doesn't want to do that. She's trying to hold it for later after the merge when she'll need it.
I thought she would show it to Yam Yam that she had a real one, just to make sure he stayed with her, but she didn't.
It was enough, as far as she was concerned, for her to reach out and touch his beard. I would be like, quit touching me with those dirty, filthy hands of yours that you never wash from what we can see. Please stop touching my face. Jam Jam, he didn't. Like you said, he was having some trouble too. He said, "Oh, I don't know if I can trust her. I can't trust Josh. He lied again about this stupid fake tree mail idol, and now I can't tell if she's lying or not. That she wants to do anything." Okay, so here comes the boat. It's time for
we saw the
Probst
boat. We knew what was happening.
To the rescue. He's checking with him once he gets on the beach. What's your heart rate like right now?
Yep, if Probst shows up before tribal council,
yes,
and they knew.
Jam nailed it exactly. He said he's Matthew, huh? He quit.
Yep, no tribal council.
No one voted out.
We knew that could happen.
Yes,
because of the numbers,
And Probst tries to wind him up a little. He said, "This could totally change the game. What will happen, given what didn't happen here tonight?" Again, the last word from Carolyn, she says, "I'm frustrated. I can't vote Josh out." She just really wanted to punish that bro alliance and take one of their meat shields away.
Yes, she did.
She was looking for some vengeance on Brandon and Danny for sure.
I'm kind of anxious to see if Carolyn's going to be able to get in with maybe some of the other women and talk to them about what the guys had said and their meat shield thing and all that, and joining with
maybe
Josh and Danny and Brandon. And
her track record with women so far is not so good. So
well, that's true.
But who knows? You're really supposed to be cheering for her right now. She's the supreme underdog.
Well, and there's just not enough women. Not if it's just women. A women's alliance won't cut it.
Right. There's that too. Yeah, she's going to get to benefit from the invisible cuckoo thing again. That's where I think we're headed. It seems to be just working in her favor.
So there's 12 left now, and there's only 5 women. Of course, if Matt went with Frannie, there'd be 6, so it could be 6-6. And you would think everybody wouldn't go with them.
Let's look real quick.
Be in on the meat shield.
That's 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 are left in the game right now. Just to
No, Matthew's gone, baby.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Skipped over him. You're right.
So
12.
I knew there was 13 at the end of last week's.
My bad.
You're looking at the roster that's not been updated yet because it's, not time yet.
So what did you think overall of the episode?
I enjoyed getting the extra camp time back again. And it wouldn't have worked if they'd had tribal council. There wouldn't have been enough time to do all that. And we kind of wondered if there wouldn't be a tribal council once we saw that they gave that much time to camp life and visited all 3 camps. So
you could tell the flow was different. But
it was.
I'm left bummed, even though Matthew did it to himself. I didn't want that. I wanted him to get better. I wanted him to play
I did too.
His best game. I'm a little bummed, I think, at the end of the episode because of that. I'm with you. I love the extra tribe time. That was great. I'm glad they're mixing the journey up and it didn't introduce yet more immunity idols or advantages because there's already too much in the game right now.
Yeah, they don't know how to balance that at all until some have been played. Well, we just we see for next week 2 of them are going away.
So let's just go to next time on Survivor. Then we hear drop your buffs, and we hear that they're all on the same beach, which is exactly. That's what you were alluding to. That's exactly what it
said. So my assumption from that is that they are not merged,
Nothing. Nobody said anything about a merge,
No, they're
Yeah.
just on the same beach.
Yes.
Like they have done before.
which triggers the expiration for the temporary
Yes,
immunity idols
for
that
Carson and Jaime. Yeah.
So she's back to having a fake, and she never got the benefit of having Matthew tell her that. So as far as she's concerned, she's still got one, but it's actually the only thing she has left is the fake.
Wow, you think Matthew told anybody else she had a fake and nobody knows that it's fake?
Seems like they would have told us if
Well,
he told
but
someone
she
else.
knew that Brandon had a fake something. I mean, they were all there when he found the idol and the fake. So they're aware that they might be some out there. But
They have no reason to suspect that she has anything, as far as we know.
yeah, that she just found an idol. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, and that this expired. Everybody's going to know that Carson's and hers expired.
Which is probably
I think.
going to get her in trouble. Hopefully she'll play it when she didn't really need
The
it.
dynamics
maybe.
change so much when you're all together.
Well, I think if I didn't like Matthew and I hadn't wanted to really see him play, I would have just gone, "Oh, okay, well, he's gone. That's that." But I really did want to see what he could do. I did like that he was a fan. I did like that he put all that work into prepping and doing things, and that's why I'm so upset with him and disappointed.
Okay, we needed to circle back to that again.
I needed to go back to that again.
Let's finish next time on Survivor.
Okay, back to that. Carolyn, so many people.
Yeah,
So she's going to have trouble with that, probably.
seemed to be signaling that.
Yeah, we'll see. And Josh says to, it looked like Lauren and Heidi, that Yam Yam's a snake. So he's already trying to
Target.
get back in with his people that he thinks he's right there with. He's good with them.
Don't know that he's had much time with,
With
Lauren.
Heidi. No,
yeah.
just Heidi.
Yeah.
And so he's
Yeah,
trying to make.
We're not sure what to make of that from what we've been shown, because they showed Heidi and Danny and Frannie and Matt talking about voting Josh out before he went on his journey.
Yep. And Yam Yam, we see him sitting there saying, betrayed. So I don't
Who
know.
knows what that's in reference to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be anything that's happened since the game started.
Carolyn's got options, so she's cut him
Yep.
loose, and now he's on his own.
And we get a nice visual of Matt and Frannie cuddled up together and holding each other's hand while they're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So probably nobody can see good enough to see that they're holding
Right.
hands.
That was a
but-
night vision shot.
But like they've always said on Survivor, pay attention to who's sleeping next to whom.
Absolutely.
So, and we couldn't tell if it was Josh or Matt, but someone said, my mind is spinning and now we're playing Survivor with a capital S. And I think I remember seeing that next week's title had
Is
something
that-
about Survivor with the capital S.
So
So,
makes sense. That sounds like a title.
yep.
Much better than the third turd.
Alrighty then. I did enjoy it. I just, I don't know. I feel sad that Matt went home. But
Matthew?
other than that, I enjoyed
And
it.
thankfully, you won't keep mixing those names up now. That's the big plus.
I didn't mix them up.
You
I
just
just
said
called Matthew Matt.
Yes.
And Josh called him Matt during the game too, talking about Matthew. If you noticed that, it jumped out at me because I thought, yeah, they're calling him Matt too. So, because that's just normal, but you can't when the two of them are together. So, yes, but I guess it'll bother you less. It
Thankfully,
didn't bother me.
that situation has resolved itself.
Yep, it has, and 12 people left in the game. So what do you think? What do you think they are going to do next week with the tribes? Because when they showed just that one little picture of a group of people sitting in a circle around the campfire, I didn't see one person with any buffs on.
Right.
So that makes me think, yes, they're on the same beach. They have not merged yet. Maybe there's going to be a challenge and they'll do what they did in a couple of the seasons with half of them get buffs and half of them don't. Or we have no idea what they've got in store for us next week. So
I don't think next week's about Earn the Merge. So I think they're going to be all living in one beach.
you don't think they're going to end with the merge after tribal like they have before?
Right now, no, I don't think that's the Earn the Merge
Well,
one.
I think it's a possibility.
It's a week early. Certainly, it's a possibility. Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out
Yes,
completely.
but they have less players than usual because they've already had two go out on a medical.
That just means they won't do a double later after the merge.
Yeah, but
That's got nothing to do with the merge.
Well, we'll find out next week.
Yeah, in terms of how it's played out before.
Well, so I have no clue.
Well, you were given Yam Yam is being targeted by Josh, and Yam Yam was saying betrayal or betrayed. So you got to think Josh or Yam Yam are potential targets.
Yeah, Josh should be scrambling.
And it makes sense too, given that Josh has been a target before, and it's only natural to think, you know what an easy vote off is? Let's just wipe the rest of Tika off the board.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you would think that some of the Ratu tribe would be looking for more members because Soka, and if they count on, well, maybe Jaime's not with us anymore, and maybe Josh is still with them. So maybe we need Yam Yam and Carolyn to come with us.
Mm-hmm. To get to 7.
Yeah, it's about numbers.
Yeah, so how significant will it be that Carson got shuffled over to Ratu and Jaime got shuffled to Soka? Or is there still any
It's hard to
allegiance
tell.
with Carson to Carolyn and Yam Yam? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I'm thinking no, not unless they just need him to bring them in, bring them along, so they got the numbers. That's what I would try to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we need you right now. We need you. So come with me, and then we'll be 3 of them and
I'm super happy
3 of
that
us.
we don't have to watch Tika be a tribe of 3.
or 2,
Yeah.
which was what it was going to be.
Yeah, where they were headed for sure.
Yeah. I
So
didn't want to see that.
I
either.
like having them all together. That's another that kind of thing, changing the dynamics up, getting people to meet each other, to have more exposure to each other, so there's more time to work on alliances, more opportunity that for the social aspects of the game to kick in. So I think that's going to be cool. And it looked like, where did they end up? We thought it was Ratu Beach. Didn't we see Tika and Soka coming in on a boats rather?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we think it's Ratu, but
So Ratu's got a little home court advantage there.
okay. If Danny and Brandon really do try to do this whole alliance with
Meat Shield,
the meat show guys,
and bring Josh in.
are they going to bring in Kane? Is Brandon going to trust Kane enough?
Well, Brandon didn't think of Kane in that category at all.
Are they going to bring in Matt, or is Danny going to say, Frannie? Matt comes with Frannie.
They were really clear that the only 3 that qualified for their bro club were Brandon, Danny, and Josh. No one else brought the physicality required to be in that club.
Well, and if I were Josh, I would be mad at them that they near got me voted out.
So how about a JSFL update?
We do not have a JSFL update.
Why is that?
Because there was no vote off, and I am not skilled enough to
To run a medical evac scoring scenario.
Yeah, I can't do that. Only Steve can do that. So usually I can run regular stuff, but I do not have the skills to do that.
Well, it's not your... Yeah. Anyway, we don't have that.
We don't have that. So we will give those on Saturday.
And you'll be able to go to the website. Steve will take care of
yeah.
it probably.
You can tell before
either
then.
Later tonight or sometime Thursday.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to see it. We just don't have that information to share during the recap this week. Anything else you want to say about this episode or looking forward to the next one?
Oh, was trying to think. No, I think we've just about talked it out.
Okay.
And we have no clue what's really going to happen next week. So
No, I'm excited. Looking forward to the change in the dynamics. See if people are going to stay with the same lines. What new alliances will get formed. How are things going to play out? Remember, Matt, my USB, who's still in the game, has no vote. So I'm anxious for him to get.
I forgot that.
To get
I
past
keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
Even though it's right there for me to see on the roster, I still keep. Oh yeah, Matt's got no vote for the first, and a lot of people know that he's got no vote.
And it appears, although we don't know for sure, but
I think they do. Well, maybe just Frannie knows. That's right. He didn't tell everybody. They thought he just lost one vote. Only Frannie knows he lost two.
Okay.
So, okay, he might be all right.
There is a bit of a question with Matthew. Yes, he left on a medical. Did he have an opportunity to give his immunity idol to someone?
Yeah, that was a biggie. I kept thinking maybe he gave it to Carson.
Could be we're due for a flashback.
Or he took it home as a souvenir. But I hope they allowed him to give it to someone.
Sarah was really clear that she did not get to keep any of the things that she had. So I doubt he would have gotten to keep it.
Yeah. Well, she had the inheritance thing, and you had already expressed that they're going to want to see that played. So they're going to put it back in at some
She was
point.
clear in her exit interviews that not only did she not get her inheritance advantage as a souvenir, but she didn't get to keep the fake idol that Carolyn gave her. So they took both of those back. That's why I was saying Matthew didn't leave with any. He didn't get to keep it. He might have left the game without giving it to anyone, but I suspect we're in for a flashback where he gave it to someone who's going to save themselves.
I'm hoping so.
At the last minute.
All right. Well, I look forward to hearing what everybody else has to say.
You bet. We look forward to having you join us for the next listener feedback show. You can call and leave a voicemail, 206-350-1547, or toll free, 844-643-8737. You can record your own audio, or you can write it up and send it to us in an email at joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. That's joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays, and we ask that you keep it in the 3-minute range. We've been having some fantastic feedback shows.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to hearing what everybody thought about this one and what you think is going to come next, because we're into the unknown with this everybody on one beach.
It does make it a lot harder to make your picks.
It's fun. You get to guess and play out all these possible scenarios. Who do you think's got the social game that they can adapt and keep playing, and who's going to panic and punch their own ticket out of the game?
I think Carson's doing pretty good, but I could see that at some point he might trip himself up.
Project Big Head. He's going to catch that noggin on a limb running through the jungle here.
Nuh-uh.
Kane,
Brandon,
What does that
no,
mean?
I don't think Kane's got much social game. Lauren, I don't really know.
She is sitting on an extra vote. That could be big.
Yeah, it absolutely could.
Depending
Especially when Matt doesn't have one. So.
How the numbers fall.
I kind of feel like Lauren could just go right in with like Heidi but then Heidi's number one is Danny. Is he going to stay that way, or is he going to drop her?
Oh, no.
They got to keep numbers.
He's going to string her along for sure.
So maybe Danny and Heidi are recruiting Lauren to come in and join with them. And
Could be.
And Jaime, who was she close to over there? Maybe Lauren.
Well, she was close to Matthew, so she lost that big connection.
That's what I mean. She doesn't have that now. So I don't know if she's that close to anybody else over there.
She was so panicked for the first vote that she did the shot in the dark. So.
Yep. Well, I think that was more because she didn't want to write Brandon's name down than it was she was afraid that they were choosing her. That's what I think. But I think Yam Yam could have a good social game for a while.
Josh is poisoning that well.
Yeah. So, yeah,
We'll
he and Carolyn both. And obviously, we see that Danny and Brandon had zero respect, or they just
Consideration.
discount.
Well, they were pretty sure that she was going to get
Completely
voted out
discounted
because of
her.
how poor she's performed in the challenges.
Yeah. Well, but then, like they said, does she become someone that would be easy to come with us, vote with us? You're a number. But Carolyn's not going to do that. She's already
Plotting
mad
her
at 'em.
revenge. Yeah. Well,
So
we're
she's
looking
not doing that.
looking forward to hearing what you are thinking about all these new developments and how you think it'll play out going forward. Have a good one.